understand this title.
What? Generational crash outs? Well, basically, it's just like, you know how things can start out, like, whenever, like, okay, for instance, you know how, Hayao Miyazaki is, like, considered, like, upper echelon, like, one of the greatest directors, animated directors of all time, right? Then there's Goro Miyazaki, who did Tales to Earthsea.
So you're saying, like, whenever somebody who's, like, a lot better, and then, like, their next generation doesn't hold up to them, basically.
Yeah. And not to say that Goro Miyazaki hasn't made improvements. I mean, Poppy Hill was pretty good, but by comparison to his dad, I mean, he's still got a long way to go. But I will say this, it's more so akin to something like the Tyrannosaurus Rex to the chicken. That's a generational crash out, because literally the T-Rex, gigantic monstrosity, like just king of the land and everything, now
somehow related to a derpy bird that just kind of mostly can't even take care of itself in the wild.
Exactly. Exactamundo. That's exactly what a generational crash out is. And people, it's okay.
I wonder if T-Rexes tasted as legit, legit as chicken, though, because chicken's delicious.
Yes, it is. Chicken is very, very delicious. The one that stands out to a lot of people is like the one that's never had to really evolve, the great white shark. Well, considering he crashed out of the last Casual Geographic video we did because it involved scary things in the water. Yeah, basically he like, great white sharks are one thing.
The only scary things in the water I like are Dagon and Cthulhu.
Fair enough. But we have here Casual Geographic, back at it once again, talking about the most generational crash outs in the animal kingdom. So, anywho, let's check this out and let's see what crash outs made the menu. Here we go. Oh god. Tiger? Bengal tiger? Yep!
Holy crap. That man dead.
Or very badly hurt.
Backyard bully brawl.
Crash out. Here's the definition, and here's the definition, but in picture. And if it's not clear now, it will be by the end of this video. Crash outs exist in all walks of life, you know what they say. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
For a Chris to get rocked by a Fresh Prince flick of the wrist. But today, we're going to talk about the biggest crash outs in nature, and there's a lot to choose from, so some had to get left off. I won't be talking about hippos, honey badgers, or Cape buffalo. I've said my piece on this roid-raging homicidal hydro horse on steroids. We already know Africa's Black Death is a hunter's nightmare, for humans and lions alike, and I have an entire video on this biracial Black Air Force hate-mongering Hufflepuff.
Yep.
But what I will talk about are rhinos. Because I've
Yup.
said that rhinos are legally blind, terminally traumatized anxiety tanks that'll buck up
Bye.
to anything from a butterfly to a buffalo. Except I was wrong. Recent studies show that the eyesight of rhinos might not even be that bad. It's just their attitude. Which means that rhino fully punted a warthog purposely and unprovoked, while this one proceeded an assault on 8 wheels and still went for a literal headshot. There's a reason why a group of rhinos is an
Man, I've seen
honest-to-God
deer do
crash,
that.
but they're not even the
Yeah.
biggest crash outs in Africa. That would be elephants. Like literally, they're the biggest. Whoever made this up actively helped escort people off the census, which they don't need help doing since elephants flatlined over 600 people last year. It isn't until elephants hit must that they really become crash out kings. Must is when a sudden burst of hormones turns elephants into 12,000-pound drunk lusting frat boys. The word must even comes from the word intoxicated, and a down bad bull's testosterone levels can spike 60 times higher than normal. And that's where the crash out comes in. No animal is safe from an entitled elephant that can't handle rejection. Not even baby elephants. Eating a toddler because his mom won't relieve you? Crash out. But the real degeneracy didn't show itself until humans got involved. Yeah, it's that kind of story. Poaching is evil, we all know it, and it's often the older, more mature bulls that get hit the hardest, for obvious reasons. What wasn't expected was removing elephant OGs from the population meant that the younger, immature teenage bulls in Must got even more out of pocket. And what do you get when you have unruly 6'6" pests with no father figure to keep them in line? Hell if I know. There was a period in the 90s where 3 young bulls that got rejected by their own kind, resorting to violating and killing not 1, not 2, not 10, but 63 rhinos.
Jesus Christmas.
And here's the thing about elephants. I've always seen elephants as like the gentle giants. Not so gentle, man. God, that is terrifying.
It's like the rhino in the clip he showed almost looked like it was just like, it's whatever. But
yeah.
Apparently they don't all get treated like that.
Well, considering that elephants outweigh them by like 2 to 3 times, it's just like, Jesus. What?
Nobody would get the reference. You won't even get it because I haven't shown it to you yet. But I just... There's this song that I've been, like... It's been stuck in my head since I heard it the other day, and I heard it because of a clip somebody used from it. And it's by this rapper, and all of his songs are, like, jokingly, like, about gay stuff. And,
wait, is it the Gay Pimp?
No, it's called Big Dick Randy.
That's the name of the rapper?
That's the name of the song.
Oh, who's...
The rapper is Digbar.
Oh, God. I thought it was like McGovern. I thought it was Jimmy McGovern, a.k.a. the Gay Pimp, because he's hilarious.
Trying to remember how the part goes. I can't say a lot of it because he drops the N-word a lot in it. Because he's a black dude.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's allowed to, so.
I was going to say, it was a white gay rapper dropping the N-bomb.
My hair bar is like, it's like, what the fuck? Big Dick Randy just broke into the studio and he dropped 2 bars and he left a note. I'm going to read that bitch to y'all right now. This is what he fucking wrote. The Dear All Trick-or-Treaters. Shit, what is it? This thing is like, Dear All Trick-or-Treaters, this year I'm coming for that ass. If I didn't get that butt last year, this year it's getting smashed. Like, stuff like that, basically. It's basically all talking about how Big Dick Randy is coming for you on Halloween. And he's gonna get your booty and your candy.
I was gonna say, usually when most rappers are like talking about like getting candy, they just like, hey, where are the white women at? That's literally all it is in a lot of cases. But
I mean, like, but the song cracked me up, and so it's just like, it's very funny.
That's terrible. Oh.
Fatherless behavior for an elephant apparently means turning a rhino from a tight end to a whiteout, and it wasn't until the seasoned, more mature bulls were brought back in that the rhino ravaging eventually stopped. And it's not just males that can choose violence. We can't forget that time an elephant traveled across India just to life-deprive a 70-year-old senior citizen while she was getting water. For context, that elephant escaped from the Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary and traveled over 100 miles to the Rappe village in Odisha. Being homicidal for over 100 miles straight is already menaced behavior. What solidified it was that same herd pulling up to that woman's funeral later that day and paying everything but respects. And that same elephant grabbed her soul-evacuated 0 HP body and proceeded to put her in the negatives. Basically, she got put on a shirt, except the shirt was reversible. And after desecrating her corpse, the shirt was destroying the woman's house along with several others. Now, many have said the woman Maya Murmu had it coming and was involved in poaching, and this was a case of an elephant not forgetting or forgiving. It also could have been someone's grandmother getting murked twice and memed on Twitter all because of RNG. We'll never know the why, but what we do know is my favorite animal is capable of crash outs of catastrophic proportions. And now we got the smallest crash out in the world. When a colony of Calabopsis saundersea ants gets attacked, some of the soldiers will rupture 2 huge poison-filled glands and literally blow themselves up. They don't just seppuku themselves, they also rain a toxic corrosive glue that either traps the op ants in place or just burns them alive. It's self-sacrificing behavior.
That is metal. That is metal, dude.
Defend the colony, but that is one hell of an escalation. One species of termite also has a concept of kamikaze themselves, and they have toxic glands that actually grow as they get older. That means the same old worker termites with dull mandibles that can't fight or forage as well as their juniors also carry the most potent explosive backpacks in the colony. So their last act of service involves eviscerating themselves in a rain of internal organs, intestines, and toxins, which proves that the most dangerous crash out is the one with nothing left to lose. For reference.
Oh, man. So it reminds me of the bombardier beetle. You ever seen the bombardier beetle? Yeah, that thing's mean. Like, saw a tarantula try to grab one. That thing just go.
Yeah.
It's like, now what? And tarantula's just like,
That's one of the many bugs that isn't grounded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can fight them and get parts from them to make stuff.
That's
They're kind of scary when you're just starting the game out, because obviously they can shoot at you basically.
Mm-hmm.
Into a house, and the last thing you see is a senile 90-year-old rushing you with a bomb strapped to their chest. But the wildest crash out might be what PFids do once a predator breaks into their home, because not only will soldiers come together and turn themselves into fleshy fireworks, they'll use their own bodily fluids to plug up the opening. Even if it means they get left outside in past tense, even if it means they suffocate on their own insides, and even if the process senses subtracts them instantly. It's one thing to self-destruct to backpedal a predator, or even after already being eaten, which aphids actually do. Using Flex Seal made out of your own guts for home repair is exactly the type of behavior this video is about. But if elephants violating the natural order didn't already tell you, the worst crash outs are the ones humans created. And this black Air Force B is the result of one of the biggest oopsies in human history. Back in the 50s, African bees were brought to Brazil and crossbred with their more domesticated European cousins. The idea was, if they could combine the two, they could create a bee that was more efficient than the Europeans in tropical climates, while also being less defensive than the African counterparts.
Bad news.
It did the opposite.
Exactly.
But in one of the most consequential f***ups possible, a local beekeeper accidentally released 26 swarms of Africanized bees, including queens. But experts said not to worry, that the bees would either die out in the foreign climate or get bred out of existence by the already present European bees.
Yes, but actually no.
By the 60s, they made it across the country. By the 80s, they hit Mexico. By the 90s, they were popping up in the US. And today, the Africanized assault has spread throughout America like a rageaholic rash.
It's terrifying.
Yes, it is. Thankfully, we're out of the danger zone up
For
here.
now.
Well, yeah, until global warming takes all of us.
Here's the thing with playing God with bees. You better be prepared for hell. These Africanized bees were way meaner than anything this side of the Atlantic had ever seen. They were way more aggressive, much less forgiving, and the same honey merchants that were enough to legitimately punk elephants, that's not a joke by the way, were doing numbers on unsuspecting people. You see, where European bees might send 10 to 20 guard bees after you, the Africanized flying mob will pull up in the hundreds. And where European bees might chase you for a couple feet, the African variety will chase trespassers for a quarter of a mile, assuming you even get that far. The irony is, African bees have smaller hives. That means these gangflies weaponize a higher percentage of their hive just to go after you. Add the fact that the very smell of bee venom is like a Batman signal to the rest of the hive, and you realize just how badly that one beekeeper screwed us over. Speaking of venom, you probably know that honeybees die after stinging, since the stingers are barbed and attached to their abdomen, causing attacking bees to literally disembowel themselves. What you might not know is that stinger will continue pumping venom into you long after the bee has become a was. Now that's just doing the most. That's how you get stories of people being chased by vindictive
Africanized killer bees do have the stinger come out.
Yeah, it does.
Still doesn't matter though.
Yeah, because of the amount of bees that
They're
there
all
are.
gonna kamikaze you.
swarms. Oh, and by the way, it's proven if you try to duck the fate by jumping in the water, they will wait, sometimes with fatal consequences. In 2013, a Texas man died after being stung over 1,000 times, and the bee still had enough malice left over to leave his wife and daughter with 100 apiece. It says a lot that the dietary habits of the Crash Out mascot might have helped create one of the most infamous crash crowds in the air. But not all crash outs are fueled by hate. Some are powered by love. Courting bald eagles will interlock talons and plummet down towards the earth, only to separate at the last possible second. Because apparently feathery foreplay means death spiraling in a questionable game of chicken. Apparently, it's to test each other's fitness as a possible partner, you know, separate the strong from the strongest. Except it does the opposite when the entangled avians crash land into trees, water, or sometimes straight pavement and take each other out the dating pool. And bald eagles mate for life, so where do you even go after your vow renewal turns into a wake that only one of you is conscious for? A study showed that eagles will also death spiral with rivals, so it's really a case of either f me or fight me or just don't waste my time. But that makes even less sense, because at least with a mate, the logic is you're trying to find the strongest, most eligible single to spend the rest of your life with. Handing death a 2-for-1 BOGO deal because you had beef and literally couldn't let it go is the definition of crashing out.
Yeah.
At least when it happens with deer like moose, you know.
Oh my god!
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Jesus Christ. That is... Wow. Like, how dumb do you gotta be to drown yourself? Like, to like literally like okay. I've seen deer be locked up like that, but eventually they get loose. But that, dude, that is terrifying. Locked up in the ice. Like, imagine like people walking by and just being like, those two must have really hated each other. Damn.
Oh, it's really bad luck, but voluntarily interlocking toes just to die with someone you claim to hate, like what's really going on here? But that relationship's nowhere near as toxic as the House Sparrows. It's like Tweety listening to NBA Youngboy. It's a honey badger with wings and an op to every other bird, but especially their own kind. Okay, so the crashing out is caused by the fact that house sparrows are monogamous and mate for life. They're also serial cheating air strumpets, and 15% of sparrow children born aren't even related to the male raising them. Cheating isn't a foreign concept to birds. Thoughts and prayers out to the penguin that got dogged out, got his cloaca kicked by his wife's boyfriend, begged for her back, got beat again, only to get rejected and bust his ass a third time. Yeah, no way he goes out that sad. Male sparrows that suspect their partner of cheating get their revenge by purposely feeding their children less, bordering on starvation. The thing is, he has no way of knowing which chick's actually his. He only goes by how much time the mother spends away from the nest. Basically, imagine your dad starves you within an inch of your life, all because your mom spent the equivalent of 10 extra minutes at the grocery store. But female sparrows ain't sweet either. The difference is she cheats with better genetic quality, or you could say high value males, while the male cheats to spread his seed as far as physically possible. Except that the female catches on to the cheating, she responds by slaughtering his entire family, children and all.
Jesus.
And it's scientifically proven that butchering the babies offers no advantage to the offending female. It's just pure love of the game.
Damn. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you out there who want to pretend that, oh, animals are so compassionate, they're so kind. If animals were in charge, there would be no war. Bullshit. Animals are just as vicious as humans. In some cases, much worse than humans. That doesn't mean that humans can't be cruel. Of course we can be. But, Jesus.
Yeah, everybody who like tries to use the animal kingdom as their argument for why polyamory is cool, like, I want you to think about the fact that somebody could easily use the same line of logic to be like, well, it's also cool if your spouse cheats on you to just go homicidal and murder your entire family.
Yeah. Let's be honest, man.
Let's try to use better lines of logic when we're trying to argue our points.
Yeah.
Comparing ourselves to animals.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's the thing about polyamorous relationships. I'm not going to say you can't be in them. Just know this. Don't, like, if you're in it, don't catch feelings. You know why? Because then you're going to wind up thinking that it's something that it's not. And then you're going to wind up just doing something very, very bad. Or just don't be in polyamorous relationships.
Every single person I've ever, like, talked to that, like, is a polyamorous relationship advocate, they're like vegans. Like, they force it down your throat. They're like, it's the only way to be, and everybody who's, like, dead set on monogamy is stupid and stuff, and I hate that. Like, and
sure, yeah.
And the thing is they would be like, you just don't understand because you don't have the, like, you're not mature enough to be in a polyamorous relationship
or like maybe I don't want to be a dog. I don't want to be a dog that just goes around and fucks everything and just winds up just be. If you want to be in a free love relationship, okay, but be ready for the consequences. That includes all the STDs, all of the fucking like chances of pregnancy, all of the jaded exes that get mad at you and want to kill you. I mean, dude, it's literally, and you want to talk about maturity? It's like, no, any fool with a dick can go around and fuck like a wild man. It takes a sane human being and a sane, rational human being to actually settle and be in a relationship that matters.
Gets children buried, you have lost the plot, especially since the females most likely to commit baby cancellation are second wives, as in they got with a cheater, got with him due to cheating, only to wipe out the entire first family. Also, I just thought about it, she also has no way of knowing which chicks are his. That means she really just life retires any baby sparrow she comes across. Yeah, that's a crash out of the highest order. And right up there with him, has to be this frog. It's a culinary crash dummy off the fact that the Argentine horned frog would rather choke to death trying to swallow something physically bigger than they are than just give it up. Scientists have found expired frogs with their stomachs torn open out of pure stubbornness. It's a gluttonous breathing pot of greed card come to life. Not only that, they're terrible swimmers, embarrassingly bad jumpers, and yo, they don't even rib it.
Are they sure it's just because they're stubborn, or is it because their tongues are so sticky that once they decide to lick something, they're kind of locked in and have no choice?
I don't know.
Fool themselves with the aspect of being a frog, just a moonlight's job of the gut. They can even develop amphibian corneal lipidosis, where they hold on to so much fat, they literally accumulate fat deposits on their eyes that blind them. To be fair, it's usually from overfeeding in captivity, but my brother in Christ, even Nakado Avocado put the fork down at some point.
Yeah, he did. Apparently it was 2 years ago, and he's been fooling everybody since. That's crazy, man.
Especially since frogs can't vomit, the best this kitchen crash out can do is fully eject their stomachs. But luckily, they're not a threat to you. Next is a crash out that the majority of the American audience has to sidestep on a daily basis. Which is funny, because the Canada goose nearly got put on an eternal milk carton due to overhunting and habitat loss. In fact, we fully thought they were out of stock in the 50s, until a small flock was found in Rochester, Minnesota. And with the help of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act in the US and the Migratory Birds Convention Act in Canada, along with conservation efforts, the Canada goose was able to make a comeback.
But was it the right choice? Yeah, as much as like we give Canada all the props for like being so nice. Oh, so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna go over here and have myself some Tim Hortons and some poutine. You go ahead on about your day. The Canadian goose is complete and total opposite of that. Also, not only that, but Canada doesn't, for the longest time, the Geneva Convention exists because of Canada. I want everyone to know that. Also, not only that, but Canada, I know that, you know, a fat electrician says it's only a war crime the first time. Canada lived by that.
And humanity and geese lived happily ever. Absolutely not. Yeah, the Cobra chicken came back with a vengeance. I called the sparrow an airborne honey badger. Nah. It's just barcoded assault with wings. Easily the most undeserved arrogance I've ever seen on an animal. And that's really what it is. This damn velociraptor has some wildly irrational confidence. They're like Family Guy. They nearly got canceled, came back, and by God do they not miss a chance to punish us for it. Even Sully's heroic landing in the Hudson wouldn't have even been needed if a goose didn't try to run a fade with a plane.
That's true.
You can get a lot of mileage out of false, unearned valor. Because it's a bluff. Geese nest on the ground, so they only really can respond to a threat to minor safety by implementing the honey badger method, by raising hell until you meet someone that takes you there. Add the fact that they managed to lose their fear of humans, and you have a honk-happy threat to national security. I've even read reports of them apparently luring chasing dogs into deep water just to attack and harass them until they eventually drown in exhaustion. To be fair, you could just leash your dog. Oh, also, goose tongue. But yeah, that attitude's a bluff, and they read body language, so act like you've been around a goose before and you'll probably be fine. So why are geese so mean? They'd probably be dead if they weren't, but at least they're not capable of really damaging anything but your pride. Complete opposite of chimpanzees, my word. Probably a top 3 crash out in nature, cause you really never know what could set this.
I've actually been bitten by a goose once before.
Probably a top 3 crash
I just love this.
out in nature. But your pride. Complete opposite of chimpanzees, my word. Probably a top 3 crash out in nature. You really never know.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was feeding bread to the ducks at the park. I know you're not supposed to do that now. I didn't know that back then, but I'm old. And a goose came up, and I was trying to give it bread too, and I gave it all the bread that I had, and then it tried to take my finger. I was like,
yeah, like, you little shit.
Saw with thumbs off. Change your hairstyle for the first time in 10 years? Yeah, you just lost your face privileges. Push one of your troop mates a little too far? Call it Kaizen the way you about to get your jutsu jumped. Do a fucking
damn.
Absolutely not. Not in these parts. Chimps and really primates in general have a sense of fairness. Do something they view as unfair? Oh, buddy. You finna find out why they're the prime ministers of unproportional reactions. This man decided to surprise his former pet chimp.
No.
With a chocolate cake for his birthday. The real surprise was 2 male chimps getting out and mutilating the man for not serving them a slice first. I'm not gonna list the full extent of his injuries. I have a full video doing that. Just know the first 2 hospitals denied him entry because they literally thought he was a lost cause. Monkeys in captivity have also been known to mob a member of their own for receiving more food than the others. And when I was 8, a chimp temper tantrum nearly had me halfway to Helen Keller. Almost had me rocking the Nick Fury fit. And we cannot forget that time monkeys in India went on a campaign of dropping dogs from roofs after one allegedly attacked a baby of their own. Yeah, primates are some Hall of Fame crash outs. Question is, what could possibly be more destructive? Well... Tigers are easily one of the most vengeful creatures alive, and the moment this striped population control wants you dead, you might as well lease a casket. There's plenty of stories of tigers going from 0 to 1,000. In 2007, 3 teenagers that may or may not have been under the influence taunted 243-pound Tatiana the tiger, reportedly even pelting her with pine cones from a slingshot. I
believe they got what they deserved.
There's a certain phrase I keep saying to people. If you fuck around, you gonna find out.
That's not just you, that's like everybody.
No, I keep saying it though, but yet people still keep fucking around and finding out. I don't understand why.
He cleared a 12-foot mow, severely mauled 2 of the teens,
Well,
and
I mean, to
killed
be
the
fair, he
third
did say in
2016.
2007. So.
A tiger ripped apart an infamous poacher named Baby only 4 days after his group reportedly shot his mate. In '97, a hunter named Vladimir Markov not only shot a tiger, but had the audacity to steal his kill. As a result, the Whisker John Wick stalked his cabin, tore anything that smelled like him to shreds, including his mattress and bedding, and apparently even demolished an outhouse Markov had used. As you can guess, the story ended
He's all
around the
sound
same
well
time
deserved.
Yeah.
Vladdy did, once the Siberian assassin was there to greet him at his house. And then there's this. The backstory is that a mother tiger and her cubs had ventured beyond the boundaries of a park and had injured cattle in the process, so rangers went out to capture and relocate the trio. They successfully tranked and removed the cubs, but the mother was nowhere to be found. That was until about right here. The enraged mother cleared a full-grown elephant and managed to mutilate the mahout riding it, taking several fingers with her, and the fury on 4 legs was never seen again.
Damn.
But the most infamous big cat
Yeah,
crash out
like,
came.
I would have immediately questioned their plan. Like, if I was with that group and somebody was like, there's the cubs, let's get... Be like, no. We get the cubs last. We get the mom first.
Yes. Find the mom, trank the mom,
Yeah.
then get the cubs.
Yeah. Like, what? Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
Them?
In that case, I don't think that was necessarily well-deserved. I think that was poorly thought out, though.
Yeah. Planning could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
In the early 1900s, when a tiger dubbed the man-eater at Champawat killed 436 people, giving her the highest human body count of any single animal. And it was discovered that the cause was a cripplingly debilitating tooth injury that forced her to go after easier prey.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I do want to mention. I know I had fun with the crash out concept, but really all the tiger was ever guilty of doing was what came naturally. And that really goes for every animal on this list. Tatiana wouldn't have had to die and take someone's son with her if they hadn't gone and tested her killer. Travis was an overweight, socially stunted, Xanax-consuming time bomb that some women decided to keep in.
Yeah, that... Once again, I asked the question.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Inside as a pet. Even the whole Elefino mess started with poachers destroying and fragmenting their families and probably giving the pachyderms PTSD. Like, I'll joke around and stuff for comedic effect, but I'm not actually out here judging animals by human standards. Cause he said something real before he got Chris rocked and left with Fresh Prince.
Talk about the tiger went crazy. That tiger ain't go crazy. That tiger went tiger.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother. There's no church in the wild and no judge in the jungle, so don't expect animals to follow either. And I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Oh, you fucked up. Oh, look at protecting him.
It's like, are you okay?
You alright, man? Are you alright? Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, the moral of the video at the end there kind of seems to to me to be that a lot of the messed up stuff with animals is kind of people's fault.
To an extent, yeah. Well, here's the thing.
And obviously not all of it is like the birds who cheat on each other, you know, that's kind of their business.
Well, here's the thing with it, man. It's just the whole deal with whenever you screw with something in nature, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And I hate to say it, but it hasn't been until here in the last few decades that human beings have realized that and have just been like, you know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Because if we do this, there's going to be repercussions for it. So let's not do that. Ugh.
Except for there will always be idiots that still do that.
No, there's always idiots out there who think they know better.
Mm-hmm.
Always and forever. Because isn't it amazing how arrogance and ignorance often go hand in hand? It's like in your arrogance, you prove your ignorance. There you go. Well, I ain't got nothing else to add. So, most generational crash outs in the animal kingdom. That was a good video. I'm gonna leave a like on that one. So yeah, what did y'all think? Love to know what y'all think about some of the crash outs that happened in the animal kingdom. So yeah, just let us know. But I guess until next time, everybody. Signing off. I am Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people and take care. Peace.